Hello and welcome. I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. After 11 days of exchanging hellfire across the border, Iran and Israel have now agreed to a ceasefire brokered by the United States of America. Although the ceasefire was agreed upon by leaders of both belligerent countries, the US, Iran and Israel are all declaring victory almost simultaneously. Where on one side of the world, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is hailing America for their help. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has congratulated his own country on their historic win over the Zionist regime in Israel. At the same time, U.S. Defense Secretary has provided evidence that the strikes America carried out on Iranian nuclear facilities have completely destroyed their uranium enrichment pipeline and set the country's nuclear plans aback by decades. Independent intelligence claims that the damage is not nearly as extensive as America says it is. Moreover, as the U.S. rallies its NATO allies to increase defense spending, China is reportedly hosting Iranian and Russian ministers in its own summit in Qingdao, aimed at similar measures. All of this and lots more over the next half an hour as we get you all the latest updates from the Middle East. And let's, in fact, to start with, tell you about what Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has said. Ali Khamenei is celebrating an Iranian victory over Israel. He said the US regime entered the war because it felt that if it didn't, the Zionist regime would be completely destroyed. Khamenei also celebrated the strike on the Al Udeid base in Qatar and claimed the attack inflicted damage on the base, a claim refuted by Qatari and American authorities. Moreover, Khamenei has warned that Iran can take such aggressive actions in the future if there is any aggression on it by its opponents. Let's listen in to what Khamenei had to say.
رئیس جمهور آمریکا در شرح اونچه که واقع شده بود بزرگ نمایی غیر متعارفی کرد. معلوم شد که به این بزرگ نمایی احتیاج داره. هر کسی میشنید اون حرفها رو میفهمید که در زیر ظاهر این حرفها یک حقیقت دیگری وجود داره. کاری نتوانستن انجام بدن، به مقصودی که داشتن نتوانستن برسن. جمهوری اسلامی سیلی سختی به گونه آمریکا نواخت. به یکی از پایگاه‌های مهم آمریکا در منطقه، پایگاه العدید، حمله کرد و خسارات همون کسانی که در اون قضیه بزرگ نمایی کرده بودن در این قضیه سعی کردن کوچک نمایی کنن، بگن هیچ اتفاقی نیفتاده، در حالی که اتفاق بزرگی افتاده بود.
Ambassador Manju Seth, former diplomat, is joining us on the broadcast. Ambassador Seth, what do you make of this first video message that Khamenei has given after the ceasefire and what he said? Do you believe he was merely playing to the domestic audience in Iran? What do you make of his messaging to the US as well as Israel?
I think it's a combination of both the things. It's both a messaging to his local constituency as well as to the US, saying that clearly indicating that the attack by the US on its nuclear facilities has not resulted in any major damage. And also that the ceasefire was because of their attack on Qatar, on the US base in Qatar. And I think he's conveying very clearly that Iran had the upper hand in all this. And I think the US doesn't want to, US president doesn't want to acknowledge that, anybody else was responsible. And I think they have very clearly said that they brokered the peace. And I think Iran was under a lot of pressure. So it's, so what Supreme Leader Khamenei is saying, that is also partly for their own domestic, constituency, to make them understand that Iran is the victor and it was, had the upper hand. And that is why the US wanted, at least though actually, I think there are a combination of factors, and all what it appears is that the nuclear facility has been damaged, and to what extent is being assessed, I think. And that the fact is that it has been, the nuclear program has been, has suffered a setback. And the fact that Iran, that the US president said that Iran and US will be talking about the nuclear program. I think that is a positive thing in this whole thing, that yes, they will talk about the nuclear program, that it continue under the IAEA supervision. though Iran's parliament has said otherwise. But I think they will likely agree because, with all the other Gulf countries also wanting peace there and everybody wanting peace, I think there will be a further movement on this, positive movement on this. And what is happening right now, what is playing out, yes, the ceasefire is holding, it is fragile, but it is holding. I think that is a plus point in the whole thing. But the Israel-Hamas war has still not found resolution, and I think that also needs to be addressed by all concerned.
All right, more breaking news, in fact, coming in now amidst the ambiguity of whether the US strikes on Iran nuclear facilities were able to obliterate it completely, with the CIA and US intelligence assessment reports contradicting each other. Pete Hegseth, the US Defense Secretary, has spoken out. In his news conference, he called out the US media for undermining the efforts of the men and women involved in the 36-hour mission. He also called out the critical media coverage of the Iranian bomb strikes.
Specifically, you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it. Spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair? Giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible.
Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Indian Air Force officer, is live with us on the broadcast. Group Captain Jha, what do you make of this Defense Secretary briefing? He's lambasted the US media for its slanted reportage. He's also questioned these leaks and reiterated claims that the obliteration was pretty severe of Iranian nuclear sites.
Well, Uday, very good evening to you. We should not be surprised. We have seen these response. When we hit Barakot, our political opponents had asked the question to show the proof where it was hit. So we are conversant with it. We should not be surprised. And same is the US, in the same position it is US. But the question you asked, who won or who lost, it's a matter of looking at a half glass, whether you say it is half full or you can say it is half empty. Look, Israel has certainly lost a few things of late in the Iran attack, but Iran has lost a lot. We know that Iran's SPND headquarters, which manages the nuclear installations, entire country, that was razed. Turkuzabad, Tehran was razed. Fordo, the top floor, the pilot project was razed by Israel itself, and the third floor was razed by the US bombing, and we all saw the smoke coming out of it for the entire day. The clip was shown to us on video, the smoke coming out of the Fordo. So there is no doubt that it was hit. How much badly it is destroyed remains to be seen, remains to be confirmed. That has to be seen. Natanz was totally destroyed. Esfahan was totally destroyed. And Khondab, Mubarakiya, Ardakan and Anarag was already struck by Israeli bombing in the previous days. So we see that Iran has lost a lot. It's only left over nuclear site, which is reprocessing the uranium to about 30 to 40% is Xi'an, Abde, and Parchin military complex. These three are left, which is not very important. So we can say that Israel has achieved its objective of destroying the Iranian nuclear capability. That has been done. Now, it also, when all three sides claim victory, I think all three sides should be complimented. US is the most prominent victor, which was able to fly its B-32 bomber all the way 18 hours non-stop, bomb the sites, all the three sites, with numerous many bombs of those 30,000 pounders, and then go back. So that was a success. As far as Iran is concerned, Iran should also draw some solace that they were able to bomb the American position in Qatar, and that particular Qatar base, Al Udaid that we call it, it houses a lot of US aircraft. But then, just 5 days before this bombing, all those aircraft at Udaid base, which were not under the blast pen. Blast pen, we call it aircraft pen, aircraft shelter, which can withstand any blast coming from outside. So all those aircraft which were not in the blast pen were moved out somewhere else, maybe some in the Saudi and some to the aircraft carrier. So there was no
Yes.
aircraft in the open. I'll just finish. So Iran can claim that they have bombed that Qatar base of US aircraft, and they achieved that. But Israel did receive many of the hits to many of its installation, and we can say that US supplied air defense system did not protect them fully. It had many holes, and that holes was exploited by Iran. So all three, you can call it a victor, or all three of them are also losers. So the compliments to all of them that they all can take some solution.
Okay. More breaking news, in fact, coming in now. In his latest post on social media platform X, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has posted a thank you note for his friend and close ally, US President Donald Trump. In the post, Netanyahu said he's deeply moved by Trump's heartfelt support for Israel and Jewish people. He also added that he looks forward to continue working with Trump to defeat their enemies. Major General Shashi Asthana, former DG Infantry, is live with us. Major General Asthana, even as Khamenei says that it was a victory for them, Benjamin Netanyahu, putting out a post on social media platform X, he has thanked President Donald Trump for standing with Israel and Jewish people.
See, in this conflict of today, I mean, whether it was Sindoor or it is the conflict between Iran and Israel and US intervening, along with the conflict, the battle of narratives is also prominent and has been used appropriately by all the three sides. All the three sides could not achieve full aim, but at the same time, all the three sides have also done some actions where they can say that they have given a tough fight. Now let's talk of firstly Israel. Certainly their aim was to destroy the nuclear facilities. A lot of damage has been done, and subsequently when the US jumped in and those bombers also attacked, a fair amount of damage has been done. But have they been obliterated? I have my doubts, because obliteration is not possible in a manner that firstly those bombers have been used for the first time. How effective? We all are going by the claimed capability of those bunker busters. How deep actually they went is a question mark. And that you cannot find out unless you physically go there, and nobody has physically gone there other than the Iranis by themselves. That's number one. Number two, Iranis knew that these bombs, these nuclear sites will be bombed, and therefore a fair amount of possibility we have to give them of the narrative that they moved the critical equipment and the enriched uranium well before the attack took place. So you can't rule that out as well. Coming on to the Israelis are concerned, certainly they made tremendous amount of success very good attacks in a manner that the commanders were killed, the scientists were killed. So a fair amount of damage has been done to put the clock of nuclear capability back by at least a couple of years, if not less. That's one part of it. But
Yes.
the determination of Iran to make the nuclear bomb has increased manifold, and the whole country has come together, and that is where Iran can boast of. Secondly, Iran did say, where President Trump said that, okay, Iran must surrender, unconditional surrender. Now that has not happened. Obliteration was contradicted by their chief of defense staff immediately. So now they are doing a cover-up action. That's a separate issue. But certainly it was not obliterated. The nuclear facilities have not been obliterated.
Okay.
Now coming on to the capabilities in a manner,
Yes.
the human resource capability to make that is also there.
Yes.
And as far as the last part, just 30 seconds, as far as Iran is concerned, it can also boast of that it has handled without surrendering
Okay.
two major powers, that is US and Israel.
Absolutely. More breaking news meanwhile coming in. Since the Iranian parliament approved the bill on suspending cooperation with IAEA, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has urged Iran to not suspend and keep cooperating with the atomic agency. Iran has denied to keep any ties with the United Nations watchdog IAEA. Russia, which has been a strategic partner to Iran, has said that Tehran has a right to peaceful nuclear energy program. Ambassador Manju Seth is live with us on this story. Ambassador Seth, interestingly, Iran, which has of course threatened to cut off all ties with the IAEA, now being urged by Russia to not do that.
Absolutely, because will also be impacted if they don't cooperate with the IAEA. I think that is why, and Russia understands this, and that's why it is urging Iran not to do so, not to cut off all ties. I think and Russia is a strategic partner of Iran, and it is supportive of what Iran is doing. But I feel that the nuclear threat in the region had grown rather. So I think that is one of the reasons that Russia also would like to discourage that from happening, and especially in the Gulf region, want Iran, though it is a strategic partner, to get nuclear arms or get nuclear weapons, because that is a threat not only to the region but to everybody else as well. So with Russia it has good ties, but at the same time, if you recall, what the Russian president had said was that they have a lot of Russian-speaking people in Israel who would be in danger if any nuclear attack takes place in Israel, or if it jumps into the war. And so I think that has to be kept in mind, and Russia's role or its advisors in that context, I believe.
Right.
That, and not having the whole region in a state of nuclear brinkmanship. And I think that is why they've advised them to continue with their peaceful program, but because nuclear energy is real and everybody need is real. So for that, they're encouraging them, but to collaborate with the IAEA.
All right. More breaking news meanwhile coming in this hour. The Iranian body tasked with vetting legislations has approved a bill to suspend cooperation with the United Nations nuclear watchdog on Thursday. Citing recent US and Israeli strikes, Iranian lawmakers have now voted in favor of the bill a day after a ceasefire ended the 12-day war with Israel. Iran has criticized the agency for passing a resolution on the 13th of June, accusing it of non-compliance with its nuclear obligations. Iranian officials say the censure motion was one of the main excuses for the Israeli and US attacks. Let me quickly, bring in Group Captain Jha on this story. Group Captain Jha, Iranian body tasked with vetting legislations has approved this bill to suspend cooperation with the IAEA.
Well, they are welcome to do anything. They are welcome to pass this bill in their parliament and suspend IAEA's inspection. But look at the consequences. What will happen? What is going to happen is there will be, again, sanctions. JCPO is already in the limbo right now. Now, IAEA's inspection, what was going on? Because Iran is signatory to the NPT. if they suspend that also, now there will be sanctions by world over. Remember, right now, USSR, Russia is the major stakeholder, which is building a new nuclear complex at Dargovin and Sirik. That is going on. So if Russia has expressed it not to withdraw from the suspend the IAEA inspection, it has got a lot of weight onto it. But it all depends on Iran, whether they want to go to the days of sanction or they want to facilitate all these things. Look, few things are very clear. The nuclear ambition of Iran cannot be sustained because President Trump just 2 days back in the NATO meeting, he has very clearly said that in case if Iran goes again nuclear, he will not mind bombing all those sites once again. So it should be taken for granted because Israel's survival is dependent on to Iran, whether it is going nuclear or non-nuclear. So Israel and United States will ensure that Iran cannot go nuclear. It will not acquire the nuclear, weapons there.
Right.
It is another matter whether they have been able to take out some of those enriched uranium from the Fordo plant or not.
Okay.
But making the warhead out of it is an entirely different ballgame, Uday. It takes a lot of things, lot of technology, and that was the most...
More breaking news meanwhile coming in this hour. Against the backdrop of the war in the Middle East, China has hosted defense ministers from Iran and Russia for a meeting in its eastern seaside city of Qingdao. This comes as NATO heads of state agreed to increase defense expenditure by a historic 5%. The Qingdao meeting of the organization's top defense officials comes as a fledgling ceasefire between Israel and Iran holds after 12 days of fighting between the two countries. All right, in further breaking developments now coming in, as per the Ministry of External Affairs reports, India successfully evacuated 3,426 Indian nationals from the war-bound Iran-Israel territory. India has also helped 3 Nepalese nationals reach home safely. Today, a flight carrying 272 Indian nationals reached New Delhi. Operation Sindhu, of course, has been one of the most successful evacuation missions, clearly. Meanwhile, more breaking news coming in this hour. The United States President Donald Trump has now claimed that nothing was taken out of the sites the U.S. hit in Iran amid speculation about 400 kilograms of enriched uranium was reportedly removed from the Fordo facility before the strikes. Amidst that speculation, amidst those reports, Trump has denied these claims. The Adani Foundation, the CSR arm of the Adani Group, has tied up with the Data Meghe Institute of Higher Education and Research, a Maharashtra-based deemed to be university, to develop it into a global center of excellence in affordable healthcare, education and delivery mechanism. This collaboration is inspired by Chairman Gautam Adani's philosophy, Seva hi sadhan hai, service is worship, and reflects the diversified conglomerate's belief that access to quality healthcare and education is fundamental to nation building. Well, the alliance with DMI-HER aims to strengthen the institution's reach and impact across academic innovation, clinical research, as well as community health. Dr. Preeti Adani, chairperson of the Adani Foundation, has said this collaboration with DMI-HER reflects our belief that access to quality healthcare and education is a fundamental right, not a privilege. We are proud to support the creation of a center of excellence that will combine academic innovation, clinical research and community care. Together, we aim to build a scalable model that serves with dignity and contributes meaningfully towards the goal of a Viksit Bharat by 2047. Anand Singh is joining us live on this story. Anand, give us more updates on this collaboration that the Adani Group has struck.
Yeah, today the Adani Foundation announced that its CS arm of the Adani Group has tied up with the Diplomat Institute of Higher Education and Research, that is DMI-HER, a Maharashtra-based deemed university, to develop into a global center for excellence in affordable healthcare, education and delivery mechanism. And it said that this collaboration is inspired by Adani Group's chairman Gautam Adani's philosophy of Seva hi sadhana hai, that is service is worship, and it reflects the diversified conglomerate belief that access to quality healthcare and education is fundamental to nation building. So clearly highlighting that the alliance with DMI-HER aims to strengthen the institution's reach and impact across academic innovation, clinical research, and community health. And it further stated that DMIHER currently operates 15 institutes and 5 teaching hospitals. And it offers 217 academic programs across 13 disciplines, including undergraduate, postgraduate, super specialty, doctoral, and fellowship courses. So clearly, it said that this collaboration aligns with the Adani Group's Temple of Healthcare concept, which reimagines healthcare facilities not just as treatment centers, but as institutions of service, dignity, and compassion. So clearly, this is what the Adani Group has said on its new collaboration with DMIHER. Back to you there.
All right, more news in fact coming in now. After an extensive volunteer-driven initiative to feed people during the Mahakumbh Mela in Prayagraj, the Adani Group has now shifted its focus to another of India's most revered religious festivals, the Rath Yatra in Puri, Odisha. Held annually at the Lord Jagannath Temple in Puri, the 9-day chariot procession draws millions of pilgrims from across the country and beyond. In keeping with Chairman Gautam Adani's belief that Seva hi sadhan hai, service is worship, the Adani Group is undertaking a comprehensive Seva effort to support both pilgrims and frontline officials during the Rath Yatra from the 26th of June to the 8th of July. Well, sources tell us this year's support includes nearly 4 million meals and drinks distributed free of cost, designated food counters providing free nutritious meals to pilgrims and officials, beverage counters across the city offering cool drinks to beat the Odisha heat, support for lifeguards on the Puri beach, lifeguard Mahasangh volunteers for beach cleanup, especially plastic waste, free t-shirts for official volunteers, fluorescent safety vests for municipal workers, and a variety of jackets, raincoats, caps and umbrellas for officials and devotees. This is through collaboration between the Adani Group, the Puri District Administration, ISKCON and local volunteer organizations. So these, of course, are the big updates we are tracking for you this hour. Anand Singh is joining us for more on this story. Anand, after the Mahakumbh Mela in Prayagraj, now the Adani Group plans to help at the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. Give us more updates about the Adani Foundation and the Adani Group's plans for service during this festival.
Yeah, look, we have seen during Mahakumbh earlier this year that how Adani Foundation has freed around lakhs of people over there during the Mahakumbh festivities. So clearly now the Adani Foundation has also decided that it will be now shifting focus to another India's most revered religious festival, that is the Rath Yatra in Odisha. And remember, this Rath Yatra is held annually at the Lord Jagannath Temple in Puri, and 9-day chariot procession draws millions of pilgrims from across the country and beyond. So keeping in view with Adani Group chairperson Gautam Adani's belief that Seva hi sadhana hai, service is worship, the Adani Group has now decided to undertake a comprehensive Seva effort to support both pilgrims and frontline officials during the Rath Yatra that will go on from June 26th to July 8th. This is what we have learned from our sources. And it also, what we have learned from our sources is that in this year's support includes nearly 4 million meals and drinks that will be distributed free of cost, and also designated food counters providing free nutritious meals to pilgrims and officials will also be there. Besides that, beverage counters across the city offering the cool drinks to beat the Odisha heat, and there will be also support for lifeguards from the Puri beach. So clearly, these are the initiatives that the Adani Group is going to take during this 9-day festivity in Odisha for the Rath Yatra that will be going on in Puri. Back to you then.
Anand, thank you for joining us with those updates. On that note, we're slipping into a short break.